Welcome to ilectureonline. Let's take a look at infinitesimal displacements in cylindrical coordinates. In other words, when we have a certain location in space, let's call that point P, and now let's move to a slightly different location. Well, that can be done in 3 dimensions in cylindrical coordinates. So the first change, let's do it in terms of angle phi. So here we have the angle phi, which is the angle between the x-axis. I might as well label my axis. There's my x-axis, there's my y-axis, there's my z-axis. And so you can see that the line drawn below the distance, or the line from the z-axis to the point P in space, which is parallel to the xy plane. If we then take that line and we drop it down on the xy plane, then this is also, and I shouldn't call it P, that's the point P, but this is the distance rho, so I should label it. All right. So notice that this is the same distance right here, just projected onto the xy plane. Now, the angle here, phi, is the same as the angle phi here. So this line here is directly above the x-axis. I should make it too steep like this. There we go. And now what happens if we take this and we rotate it slightly in the phi direction? So we rotate it slightly and that becomes like this. And now we draw another line like that. And we can see that this here is a small change in the angle phi, so let's call that a d phi. Now the question is, how long is this little segment right here? Well, think of that as being a portion of an entire circle going around the z-axis. So we can then say that this distance right here is equal to the distance rho times d phi. Now, the second displacement that we can have is we can go from point P and we go radially outward this way. So we can go radially outward this way and go to another point right there. And this here would be a small change in phi, so we call that in rho, so we call that d rho. I keep calling it phi, but that's actually rho, d rho. And we could do the same along this line right here. So this line right here would also be d rho. And then if we connect that right there, since d rho is such a small distance, this can also be called rho d phi, rho d phi. And so you can see that this now becomes an area element that can swing around the z-axis. So we can call this here, that is one form of an area. We call that dA, which is now parallel to the xy plane. What we can also do is have a small displacement in the z direction. So here we have a small displacement in the z direction, and we call this dz from there to there. We could do the same over here. We call that dz. And if we connect those two, that would be like this. Then we can go radially outward like this, radially outward like that, connect those 2 points, and drop these straight down like this. I'm slightly off like that. And notice I now have a volume element dv. So let's define the area element and the volume element. Well, we can have 2 different kinds of area elements. We can have the one that's parallel here, or we can have the one that is on the side like this. So what can we do? Let's first define this area right there. So if we define this area right here, that is 1 dA. So we can define that as the width times the height. So it could be equal to rho times the height, which is dz, and times d phi. So that's rho d phi dz. That would be this area element right there. That would be the one on the side. If I want to describe the one on the bottom, that would be equal to, that would be rho d phi times d rho. So that would be rho times d rho times d phi. So it depends upon which area element we want to define. We can define them in those 2 ways. And then we can define the volume simply as the area times the height, or this area times the width. It doesn't matter. So in this case, let's go rho d phi for this, then d phi, then d rho, and dz. So this becomes rho d phi dz as the volume element. Notice if we take this dA and multiply it times dz, we get this. If we take this dA and we multiply it times d phi, d rho, we get that as well. So either way, we can take the bottom area element, or we can take the side area element, multiply times the appropriate change in infinitesimal displacement, and we get the volume element. And that is how we get the length element, rho d phi, the area elements, 2 of them, dA, and the small volume element all in cylindrical coordinates. So it's easier to see in cylindrical coordinates. It's a little bit easier to work with in cylindrical coordinates compared to the spherical coordinates, and that is how it's done. Okay.